Hey loves, Tarly here. And last week for Meal Monday, I made this post. And of course, if you follow me on Facebook, you know I had to do some travels for a family funeral. During family time, we ate so bad. So now that I'm back from my travels, I'm going to start over. And of course, the first step is nutrition. All right, so eating clean isn't hard, but it does require advanced planning. So when I shop for groceries, I already have it in my mind that I'm going to shop around the perimeter of the grocery store. That's where the fresh fruits, veggies, meats, the refrigerated section are. If I am going in between aisles, is for things like brown rice, tuna in water, trail mix, beans, things of that sort. Now for this meal prep, I only needed bananas, broccoli, sweet potato, eggs, beans, rice, egg whites, lean steaks, chicken breast, tuna, and anything else I probably already had in my house. But as you can see, that's, hefty grocery list. Now for my meal plans, I usually have about 3 categories. Snacks, fruits, veggies is category 1. Healthy, high fiber carbs is category 2. And of course, my protein sources, which tends to always be the biggest category of them all. Now, I'm on a budget. I don't know about you. So I try to keep it simple, but at the same time, I don't want to have a boring meal plan because then I won't eat the food. I'll just be honest. So for snacks this week, I did pick trail mix. I bought a 4-pound bag of trail mix, and yes, there is M&Ms in there. I know myself, especially being pregnant right now, I have a sweet tooth. But what I do make sure is that I portion size it right. And of course, since we're talking about budget here, instead of me buying it already portion sized, I actually portion size it myself. And all I need is a trail mix, Ziploc bags, and a measuring cup. So since it's a cold season, the fruit of my choice is bananas because it is very cost effective at this time. Most of the other fruits are very pricey since they're not in season. Now, bananas have many benefits, but the best one that I love is it's a very high source of potassium, and that will help decrease muscle spasms or, muscle cramps. For veggies this week, I chose broccoli, and I just simply wash it, cut off the stems. I don't cook it right away because I feel that it gets too soft once I warm my food up. Don't forget, we are prepping. So what I do is I will use the raw, freshly washed broccoli, put it together in my Tupperware. And when I'm ready to heat up my entire meal with my healthy carb and protein, the microwave will lightly cook it, giving the broccoli a crunch. Now, if you're the type of person who don't like your broccoli crunchy, then of course omit this step and cook it now. For me personally, I like my broccoli very lightly cooked and have that crunch. All right, so now we're off to category 2, which is the healthy carbs. My choices this week were oats, sweet potato, and brown rice. Now with the oatmeal, I just basically cook the oats in a pan. I do not add seasonings like cinnamon, nutmeg, or milk until either the day of, or I'll prep it that day of, because if you keep it in the milk, it will possibly spoil quicker. For the sweet potato, I definitely preheat my oven to 400. I wash it thoroughly. Don't forget, sweet potato is grown in the dirt, so definitely wash it, even brush it if you need to. Then I'll just poke my knife, stab it a bit. This way the heat can get into the middle. Wrap it up in foil paper, and then I'll lay my sweet potatoes all on a cookie sheet. Now, of course, the time in the oven varies because it depends on the size of the sweet potato. Normally for me, I let it cook for about 2.5 hours. You will smell it in your house. Like, you'll smell the sweet potato. So that's how you know, it's definitely thoroughly cooked. Now, I love my sweet potatoes soft. This way, when I'm taking it out of the skin, it is nice and mushy. So it's like mashed potatoes right away. But if you want your sweet potato a little bit tougher, then of course you would decrease the time. For brown rice, I just simply put it in my cooker. Okay. Key is all this can be cooked at the same time. And never forget, as I stated in the post, never wait till you're hungry to prep your food. By then it's too late. And most fast foods are unhealthy or it's expensive to eat it on a regular basis. All right, so let's get into the last category, which is protein. So our choices this week were steak and chicken. I love to season my protein the night before. I haven't found a steak rub that is store-bought that I personally like. Most of them are super, super salty. I'm not a big fan of it, so that's why I personally make my own. But if you have one that you absolutely love, then by all means, go for it. Of course, my hubby is one who picked this. I guess this is like a manly cut. It was like a lean sirloin cut. It's very, very hefty. All I really do is pat it down dry with a paper towel and poke holes in the steak with my fork. This will allow it to soak up the seasoning. After that, then I add my salt first, then my rub. And then once I've done that, I of course flip it over, do it on the other side. And at this point, I wash my hand because I don't want to cross-contaminate. And then once I do that, I add Worcestershire sauce. I hope I'm pronouncing this right. Worcestershire sauce. Listen, you guys know what it is. But it's a really great base and like a marinade for the steak to just sit in. And then, yeah, I just cover it up in the fridge and then put it overnight. Now, of course, there is no specific science to do this. It's really up to you as to what you want to season your steak with and how long you want it. Personally, I love to have any type of protein in a seasoning for at least 4 hours in the fridge. Okay, or up to overnight, maybe even 2 days is even better. For my chicken, I first cut the chicken breast into smaller pieces and I do remove some excess fat. Very similar, I kind of just pat it down with a paper towel to soak up all that extra moisture, poke holes with a fork, and then I do add a store-bought chicken seasoning because I really like it. Then I'll also add fresh onions. I do not add extra salt because this seasoning to me has just the right amount. All right. It's kind of hard. And of course, this is to each his own. Eventually, you'll figure out which seasonings you like. Again, so then I just cover it up and then put it in the fridge overnight. So I wait the next day. And for the steak, I simply grill it on my stovetop cast iron grill. If it's summertime, I will definitely grill it on a regular grill outside. I just love when steak has that smoky taste. I can't describe it. I hope you guys understand what I'm saying right now. I prefer it on a grill than the George Foreman, and that's just my personal opinion. I would usually grill each steak roughly between 2 to 4 minutes, depending on how thick the steak is. There is still a little bit of pink in the middle because don't forget, when you put it in the microwave, the steak does cook more. So if you cook it well done right now, it's going to be like super, super tough when you decide to warm it up. For the chicken, I do remove the onions and I will just grill it on my George Foreman. It's just the easiest way. It collects the fat, and I can also do both the steak and the chicken at the same time when I do it that way. And that's it. The steak and chicken is done. Next, we move on to my red kidney beans. I love this stuff. I'll just wash the beans, cook it in a pot in boiling water, and then just keep adding water until the beans is fully cooked. Once it's about 3/4 cooked, or I should say until it's like soft, I would add onions, and I do like this seasoning called Saison. Of course, sometimes depending on the day, I'll even probably add coconut milk or anything like that. But for this week, I was just feeling for some onions and just some Saison. Very simple. I will cook it until the skin of the beans literally kind of fall off, or they kind of tearing off, because that will naturally thicken it. Another protein source that I love, and I know my kids love a lot, is tuna. I put this recipe actually on my Instagram, which is at Tyraly's 2 cents. If you are a woman and you're part of our weight loss journey on Facebook, Tyraly's weight loss journey, definitely, if you aren't part of it, get with the program and be part of it. It's really great. I did have the recipe recently for another Meal Monday. Or if you are a guy, you could just go to facebook.com/Tyraly's 2 cents. That's my fan page, and you can get the recipe there. Basically, you get this recipe anywhere. I love tuna because you don't have to cook anything. You just basically put it together. It's in the fridge and it doesn't spoil quickly. Last source are eggs. Now in my household, I do have to cook for the family, so I do definitely listen to what they will eat. For some reason, my 5-year-old and my 3-year-old, they do not like liquid egg whites where I make it into omelet. They prefer their eggs hard boiled, and I just take out the yolk. So that's really how I do it for them. Just get a pot, put some eggs in there, and wait till it boils. And then after that, just remove the shell and then store it in a container. I remove the yolk right before I'm about to put it in the microwave to give it to the kids. For my husband and I, we personally love liquid egg whites because we like our eggs as, an omelet style. And the yolk is very high in cholesterol, so really try to be careful about that. Yeah, and I just pre-make some omelets where it's just simply salt, pepper, onions, and yeah, that's the basic. And if I want to add more, like maybe a little bit of cheese, maybe some garlic powder, it just depends on the week. But eggs are super easy, and I always have it on hand. And that's really my meal prep. Of course, this is a habit that you just have to get used to. That's really it. Once I cook it, I store it in a Tupperware, and I do work from home. So as the days go, I will take out my food from the pots. But for my husband, he works outside of the home, so I have to set up his lunch. This will most likely for my family last about roughly 2 weeks, and that's a family of 4. Eating clean successfully is super simple when you follow these 3 steps. First, you just shop fresh, you prep it in advance second, and then you store it and repeat. Consistency is key. Eating clean is a lifestyle change. Nutrition is about 80%, and then working out is 20%.
It's so good, Mom.
Huh?
It's so good.
Yummy. Taylor, stop packing your mouth. So I hope this was helpful. Eating clean successfully in these 3 steps has allowed me to really budget our money and get the biggest bang for our buck. Definitely buy things that are in season, keep it simple, and take the time to season your food or see healthy ways on how your healthy food can taste good. Because if you try to make your food with no seasoning, it tastes just bland because you feel you're trying to save on calories, you'll probably just not eat it and go ahead and buy fast food anyway. Faith and fitness truly go hand in hand. Till next time, God bless, and I wish you well. I'm so grateful that you're watching. To hear more of my 2 cents, subscribe now. Want me to shout out or talk more? Let me know in the comment box below. Want to see how I came from 240s to 132.6 pounds? Go to Tyraly'sTwoCents.com/workwithTyraly. Let God be your #1 motivation in everything you do. Never forget, faith and fitness truly go hand in hand. God bless.